Hello, this is Cammie and Sarah, and we are here with Jam Session number 6, Embodying the Brand of You. So we are excited to have you on board today, and this is a great topic because you guys do all of that beautiful essence work, and this really takes it into that next step of taking who you are and building it out into the brand of what you put out into the world. And so we are going to dig in how you do that, and if you have, as you start to look at this, you might pull out your Essence of You diagram because you're going to need that as we dig in today. And there's so much that goes into our brand. Today we're going to talk about the most important elements that will help you really shine your light out into the world. Because people who are crazy enough to change the world are the ones who do. I think, Steve Jobs is obviously did an amazing job of building his brand of what he stood for and building very important brands out into the world. But we are a little bit crazy when we say, okay, we're going to go out and we're going to change things, we're going to do things different, and we hear that from you guys all the time. So this is really an important thing to think about, is like, how are you going to change the world, and how are you going to be known for changing the world? And where we're going to start is really owning your gifts. It's the essence of who you are, and acknowledging how you matter in the world. Knowing who you are at your very essence and how you're meant to matter is so important. And this is a different way than a lot of people approach branding. I mean, a lot of people start branding from a whole different perspective. We believe that it starts with who you are at your very essence, at that very core, and then it's moving up through you, through the essence of you, and out into the world. And that you're really stepping into all your light and you're owning your gifts. You're not stepping into that shining power of who you are. It's like owning this Ferrari and keeping it hidden in the garage. You never really get to experience its full power, its speed, its agility. It's just, you need to let that loose, let it free. So it's time to start embodying your essence and your purpose. And when I say embody, I do mean that it's time for you to step into your power from head to foot, to energetically feel this in your very, very core, your power center. And so we're going to start today by getting into our body. And this is actually a great exercise for me today, because as you can think about with Ignite just 2 days away, I've been going pretty strong, pretty heavy. So stopping for a moment here and really stepping into who we are and getting grounded in this space of our body. So I want you actually to stand up, and I'm going to put this so that you can actually see my core. So I want you to put your hands across your belly here, just below your belly button, a few inches below your belly button. And I want you to do a nice deep breath, deep down into up through your nose, up through your mouth. And feel that space that pulses between your hands, that space in your body, and keep that breath moving. That space in your body that fills the space between your hand and your spine at your power center. So to breathe into that space and consider the essence of you. Breathe into how you're meant to matter. Just feel it in your body. Think about your gifts that you're taking out into the world, how you're helping people. This is where we're going to start. So pull out that Essence of You diagram as it stands today. Look at the spokes that make you up, who you are, your strengths, your passions, your values. And if you finalize the essence of you, stop and read it for a moment. Read who you are at your very essence. This is the place that we're going to work from, the essence of who you are and how you shine your light on the world, how you impact others around you. That big question of how do you want to be known? What is the legacy you want to leave in your family, in your work, in your world? Take a moment and write down, what do you want to be known for? In your family, in your work, in your world. Sarah, what do you want to be known for?
Well, today I wrote, I want to be known for doing epic shit. Shocker. I want to be known for being present, no matter if I'm working with somebody from a coaching perspective, I'm working with my family, my children, my husband, those that I care deepest about. I want to be known for bringing the positivity, the positive energy, and that I'm somebody that modeled the fact that I don't think there's rules, that leadership is really more about being than it is about doing.
Nice. Nice. How about you, Susan?
So for my family, I wrote nurturing, caring, supportive. For work, I put skilled, but I don't really like that. That just doesn't sound right. So I guess my experience and my wherewithal and just, you know, the background and what my strengths are internationally.
Exactly. I'm glad you changed that out a little bit more specific, right? Because I don't know anybody that has the kind of experience you have in, you know, living in Japan, working with all those Asian countries, with Asian people, building community. All of those things are really, really important, right?
Right. So I think that, and then also I guess teaching. You know, I've really liked teaching the Japanese class, and I've gotten some amazing comments. And then even the cooking class I started up. You know, just
awesome.
So I want to be known for being able to train and teach others about my experience.
Yeah. And that whole cultural aspect is just huge for you, I think. And I think that's it's what I'm hearing is some bubbling of ideas and newness coming out, right? Just by asking those questions.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And then for the world, I mean, that's a hard one. I guess that's sometimes I equate the same, but I guess that's not right, because I guess in the outside world, outside of work, I've been trying to work on that in Rotary and being the vice chair of the Takayama committee. I'm helping at the governor's mansion decorate for the holidays. So they're doing an international sister city theme. So they picked Japan as one of them at Takayama. So yeah, so that's really not paid, but it fulfills that part
community.
Of it. Yeah,
it's community, right?
Right.
And that's huge. And we're going to talk a little bit about what that means for your brand, what community brings to your brand. So I think it's really important. Thank you. Yeah. How about you, Ashara?
So today, what I wrote down was, I want to be known for being present in whatever is standing in front of me at the moment and helping to affect change with my thoughtful curiosity.
Oh, that was really, really cool. Affect change with thoughtful curiosity. Yes, yes. And Ashara, I love how we both were talking about presence, and that connection piece is so vital.
Yeah. And you know what, it just kind of occurred to me how we just went through a presence exercise, right? We started with a presence exercise, which took you there.
Yes.
And so that's just a good lesson in knowing how beneficial that can be, and that taking that 30 seconds to connect into that space, that presence, and then know that it feels so good and so right that that's what you want to be known for.
Yeah, yeah. It seems to be what I do when I do my best work with people and their animals, is I'm just present.
Yeah. So good thing for us all to remember. And that's what I'm talking about when you think about building your brand from that place. It's different than if you get up in your head and say, I want to be this and that and this and that. You're getting the bubble outside your head, right?
Yeah.
Versus if you start from here. Cool. Very cool.
So you're grounded down into what it is that you want, right? You've connected with that core. And now it's time to think, okay, big intentions. So in Amy Cuddy's TED Talk, Your Body Language Shapes Who You Are, she talks about how the simple movement of raising your arms high into the air expands your energetic space. It's bigger, right? You're putting it out into the world into a different way. And she says that, even if you don't maybe feel like, man, I'm going to have this huge intention, that even that body movement can help you almost fake it till you make it, right? And that I'm going to, with my body, get there, right? And so I would love for you all that are just sitting there to just take your hands and pull them up high, right? This is a potent addition to that connection with your power center. So try it on for size. Feel it. Fake it if you have to. But just know that this body connection piece is critical, right? In our equine vision journeys, in the retreats that we do, we often have people walk around in the arena and send out that big intention for how they want to matter, right? They start from that power center and then they raise their arms high as they make a powerful declaration statement, right? That big thing that how they want to be known, how they want to matter. It's with a big voice, it's with big intentions and big movement that they start to feel the power of that inner Ferrari that we were talking about, right? It brings that inner Ferrari to the surface. Because it's one thing to think about it and even connect to your core, but it's another to bring even more energy out there. And it's that energy level that you're looking for when you embody your gifts and your purpose. So when you step into your essence of you, right, your life changes, right? The scattered, too many things to do in the rhythm of life transforms into intentional sparks of empowerment and a stream of positive flowing life energy, right? Things come easily. The windows open wide for you to receive as much as you give, right? And that heart, it settles into a place of deep contentment. Right? When you are opening big, it lets that heart expand, and then it can rest on that groundedness, that core that you have now just expanded even bigger. Obstacles melt away, and you shine light on new possibilities. Right? So that body piece, huge. Whenever you're feeling like, man, I just don't know, I need to get connected to what really lights me up, get that body rocket, right?
I've even done some meditations this last week, and I think this comes out of the universe has your back, I think. And a meditation, it's a Kundalini meditation, but you're actually sitting in that with your arms up for 3 minutes in meditation. And it's about opening your heart center, right? And it feels really good. I mean, 3 minutes is a long time to hold your arms up.
Arms might shake a little bit by the time you get to the 3 minutes.
But it opens your heart to the world around you. So it's kind of a cool one.
Right.
Anyway.
If you go to yoga, how many heart openers do you do? And whenever you do that heart opening, you cactus those arms back. Oh, it does. It energetically, if I could say the word, shifts things for you. So I think the biggest takeaway is to know that as you're thinking about that essence of you and who you are, what you represent, know that your body is there to help you just vibrate even higher, tap into it, move from that place.
Yeah, and it's that word vibrate, right? Because we all, we all vibrate. We all resonate some sort of an energy out into the world. And you're putting different energy out when you've opened yourself up like this. And I want you just to think for a moment of different people in your life and how they make you feel when you're around them. Some people, when you're in their presence, they're going to energize you. You're going to feel this kind of buzz of enthusiasm for life and for living. And others are going to deplete your energy, right? I mean, we've felt that before, that right. Depletion, that they leave you, they leave their presence feeling that you're feeling worn out and you're exhausted because they've sucked something right out of you. And the energy that these two types of people resonate is so very different. There's all kinds of energies in between. So when we open up our bodies to experience the different energies all around us, we can feel them. And this is how people resonate. And guys, guess what? It matters how you resonate. It matters what kind of energy you are putting out into the world. And holy moly, we know that right now is really important what kind of energy we're putting out into the world. We get to choose. And it's true that you will resonate different energies and frequencies at different times in our lives, depending what's going on in your world. I mean, when you're on fire with excitement, what's going on, you're going to vibrate differently than, say, if you've lost someone close to you in your life. And yet, I always believe that there's a conscious choice we can make about how we're going to show up in the world, no matter what's going on around us, even in the most difficult situations. I believe that we're exactly where we're supposed to be in our life, and at any given moment, I believe there's a silver lining in every experience that we are going through in our spiraling journey of our life. Even the most difficult situations, we can ground ourselves. We can go back home, and we can really ground ourselves in our bigger purpose in our lives. I believe we create our own worlds through the language we use, through the way that we embody our journey, and how we manage our day-to-day lives. So consider for a moment how you resonate to others. When you're embodying your purpose and doing what you love, I can promise you that you've got a shining light that's going to resonate brighter, and it's going to uplift others around you. This is how you create a legacy that really matters.
Absolutely. I was on a bus ride a couple of weeks ago in Banff, and there was a couple that was talking about energy. As interesting as it was, I'm on a beef tour, and we're talking about energy, and they're talking about how vibe is kind of like a radio station, and that you can change the channel at any moment, right? If you feel like one day it's time to, rock out, then you choose the channel to rock out. If you wanted to, have the country feel, then you change the station to that. And the idea was, well, if we could think of energy like that, like we can turn that at any moment. Like it was just, oh yeah, we totally can. So ever since I heard them speaking about that, I've been thinking about energy like a channel. Right? What feels good today? How do I want to be turned on? And I did a radio interview yesterday. It wasn't, well, not a radio. It was just an interview with somebody that found me on Instagram, and they really loved my brand. And I had only emailed a little bit with this person, and this was the second type of interview that I had done like this in a couple of weeks. And it was funny. About 3 questions in, the lady that I was speaking to, she was like, oh my gosh, I love your energy. Your vibe that you're putting out right now is so magnetic, and I just have to tell you, this is super cool. I've been meeting with lots of entrepreneurs, and they don't all have this energy, and it's awesome. I was like, oh my gosh, cool. I chose, like, this is going to be a high vibe conversation. I'm talking about what I love. I'm talking about my purpose, right? So I just had to share that with you because, it is how others see you, right? They're just feeling that. I see myself as somebody that's high vibe. She felt it because I was choosing that, and that helped her to see what my brand was at the end of the day. And that's what we're here to do, right? This journey is to understand who you are, how you want to matter, and how you're going to shine your light out into the world. That's the foundation, right, of your personal brand. It's how people experience you. Right? It's how you show up. It's how you dress. Right? I got into a great conversation about this last week when I was in Washington, D.C. about dress. And love it or hate it, people are making an assessment about you. They're going, based on the things that I can see, like nonverbal, you don't even have to say a word, we're getting some energy. We're getting some kind of feedback, right? So it can be the things that you say, the way that you resonate, the just way that you're standing, right? That's one of my favorite things when we're doing an equine vision journey, to like watch people, and how many people as they're standing and you tell them to be grounded, and they might cross their legs. and, a little breeze comes up and it might, push you over, right? Crossing your arms, or, there's so much of a story that we are telling in just the way that we're showing up. So I'd be remiss if I didn't mention an important part of your brand ties to, for those of you that are entrepreneurs, right, your ideal customer, right, and what keeps them awake at night, right? What's that worry point for them? Their biggest pains and challenges, and how you can help solve those problems. And if they can see that in your brand, whoo, magnetic, bringing people right through the door, right? And so it's really important to, think about how you matter, and then what is it that you're going to be able to do to help those urgent ones, and what is it that, you're going to resonate with, that they're going to be like, yes, this person can help me. And one of the things that is really important that we've been talking a bit within our mastermind is that kind of energy of when we're prospecting or when we're selling, right? Is it, I'm going to push, I'm going to try to take, it's just like this, really, like I need it kind of energy, or is it more an energy of I'm going to move with love, right? With the energy of I'm here to serve. I'm here to, just being me, help you, right? Completely different thing. And that is going to be wrapped in your personal brand. So let's keep charging along with this idea of energy and resonating, where that personal magic happens. And I would love for you to consider these questions. Right? They're going to be popping up on your screen here in just a second. And the first one is my absolute favorite. And I was just talking with a client yesterday who's building a new way to pitch her business, as she's working with clients. And I said, before you get into any of the how-to, I would really love for you to journal around how would you want this new contact, this new potential client, how do you want them to experience you? And it was a completely different kind of conversation that we ended up having versus, okay, well, I'm going to take all of these steps to make it happen. It was like, gosh, I do want to flow from this inside-out perspective. It's about me, and then we'll get into, the how-to. So consider with your brand, how do you want those people to experience you? Right? How might you represent your brand in the words that you choose to represent you? What feelings do you want to invoke? And then that final bullet, how might you represent your brand in colors? How might you represent your brand in the clothing that you wear? Right? So as I think of the words that describe me, I like to think of it in terms of hashtags, right? Hashtag rockstar, hashtag lady boss, hashtag hustler, hashtag badass, lover, leader, whatever those keywords are. Write them down. And that was a funny question that I got asked yesterday when I was doing the interview. They're like, so as a coach, do you find yourself using any particular verbiage or, vocabulary? And I was like, oh, yeah. I talk about being awesome, talk about epic shit, and that's me. That's part of my brand, right? Cammie's part of our brand. Spiral, that's boom, 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 big, huge, opportunity to weave into the brand. Nature. Right?
Fire
Water,
dancer.
Horses, fire dancer. I mean, there's that. What are yours? Even if you've done this activity before, I think it's important to revisit it. Right? What are those things that are really resonating with me right now? I think sometimes for me it shifts in season. Right? So what right now really resonates with you? And then, go ahead.
I like the fact that you just said that sometimes it shifts with the season, because it does.
Yeah.
What's your energy? And we're going to talk a little bit about that tomorrow at Ignite, or Thursday at Ignite, on how our energy shows up in the different seasons. And so be thinking about that. How does that play into your life?
Right. Right. And as you are considering all of these things, it's really, really important that you are you, right? Because oftentimes we hear people talking about, well, I'm this way at work, and then I'm this way when I'm at home or in my personal life. We hear it all the time with women that we meet. And I'm just this different person. And as you consider this brand of you, no matter who you are, I want you to just recognize that you're going to be grounded in your authentic self, whether you're at work, you're with your children, you're with your husband, you're with your friends. You need to be you no matter the situation. It's not different whether you're at work or you're at home. It's just you. And so I invite you to master this art of translating this newfound awareness of who you are into the people that you continuously get to be around and those that get to continuously experience you. We don't want to have my hat A and hat B. That's really tiring. And then people don't know, especially those that know you and both are like, which one am I getting right now? It's like, well, no, you get Sarah no matter if I'm on the boardroom or, we're just having coffee. That's when you really feel in alignment. So super, super important. And you know this, but it's good to be reminded.
So another key part of defining that personal brand for you really requires understanding whom you want to matter. Who's your tribe, right? And knowing how you want to help them and what you want to be known for, whether it's in your work environment, your volunteer opportunities, or your personal life. So people make our world go round, and it's highly likely you cannot step into life matters without a tribe of people around you. I mean, I think that's one of the things I love about what we've created more than anything is the tribe of people that we live in on a day-to-day basis. I mean, that's just been, even as I've been preparing for Ignite this week, I've been thinking, what's the most incredible thing is the tribe of people that are around us all day long. And that's where the magic is, guys. And so really be thinking about who's the tribe of people you want to be drawing to you, attracting to you. And chances are you're going to have to step up and out and expand your circle of influence and network of connections and growing and expanding your business and growing and expanding even in your professional life, because it's really easy to keep a small circle because it's comfortable. So stepping out and growing that connection to who's in your life is an important part of building your brand. And I'm not talking about kind of that surface level connections. I'm talking about real connections, not the kind where you just go stick your business card in somebody's face and say, I'm going to meet as many people as I can kind of thing. How many people can I meet at this place? Rather, I want you connecting, deep, deep meaning connections, deep shared support of one another. So if you're walking into a room of people, you are actually going to meet just a few people, but getting to know them at a deeper level. And it means that you get to know the people in your tribe, those whose lives you want to make a difference in. It means understanding what they need in their lives. So you're not just about a take, but you're actually understanding what they need. And approaching it with, how can I help you? That's huge. How can I help you? Versus, how can they help me? Just changing that conversation around. So if you approach these new connections with a helping energy, the reciprocal is going to flow back to you exponentially. In my last working years of the corporate world, I worked so many hours, I had no time for connections. I had, on the day I left my corporate job, I had 6 connections on LinkedIn. My network was that little circle of people that I worked with, right? And granted, they were all around the world, but there was still a very confined group of people. And I wasn't really set up for transition. And I know that you know that I have a very different situation today. I spend a huge amount of energy, a huge amount of time on building my community, my tribe, and that's something that makes me unique. It is the wonderful women like each one of you. And how many times have you heard me say, I love to connect great women to great women? Because it's part of my brand. It's part of what I do. It's what I love to do. And it took a lot of time and diligence to change this, but today I have a network of this in my life of these amazing women doing amazing things. Some are clients, some are influencers, some are dear friends. All of them are based in real relationship. So what is it? I've got some tips here for you on making meaningful, long-lasting connections with your tribe. First of all, and I've mentioned this already, how can I help you? Always approach the people with, how can I help? 2, know what makes your tribe tick, what excites them, what is keeping them awake at night, what emotions dance in their life, what energy is flowing from them. Get to know where your tribe hangs out and get engaged. You know, I sit on the Women's Foundation of Colorado's board. That's a pretty cool tribe to be hanging around. Look for where the women that you, or the people that you want to be hanging out with are hanging out. And consider if there's a way to connect with your tribe and shared meaning. So that's where I sit on the board, right? So if you can share some passion around the same sorts of things, you create really meaningful relationships. Skip any of the speed networking environments. You can't stand them. It's like, you know, how many people can you meet in this short little amount of time? Just skip it. It's not worth your time. Connect with people around passions. If you like to hike, join a mountain club. If you like to run, join a running club. If you like to read, join a book club. There's something for everyone. And then really important here is to nurture your connections that you do make. Keep following up, reaching out, making time for more connections with that person so that you can take that relationship deeper, whether it's a coffee, whether it's a phone call. I do coffee phone calls all the time with people. So, you know, I don't want to drive down the hill from Evergreen, but let's get on the phone and let's catch up of what's going on. Or let's go grab a glass of wine. Make it personal and make it real, whatever feels right to you. And at the end of the day, and then I guess another one I want to just throw out there too is, and I've been doing more of as well, is let's go for a walk. Let's go walk around Evergreen Lake. Let's go do something outside. So you can do it in all kinds of ways, all sorts of ways, but make it meaningful. And at the end of the day, it's about expanding who you know, showing up authentically in your full essence of you every day, and when asked, being clear about what it is you stand for. I think Sarah does such a beautiful job of that. And what do I stand for? Here's the words, right, that really that resonate for me. You want to know what my words are? Let me tell you what my words are. And this is how you build consistent personal brands. And it's being you by resonating positive energy and by growing your connections. So who's your tribe? And where do you find them? Take a moment and jot that down. Jot your answers down. Don't jot that down. Jot the answers down to that. Who's your tribe? Where do you find them?
In the unlikeliest of places sometimes.
Yeah. Where's the most unlikely place you've met someone that's totally part of your tribe? It's a great question. I'm trying to think of my own. I think it's funny how people show up in our lives just when we need them to, right? It's like, gosh, you do what? Oh, wow. So, Ashara, Susan, where's your tribe and where do you find them? Who is your tribe and where do you find them? Shar, you've been making good progress in this. I've seen this, and you had really good luck with this last week, right?
Oh yeah. So my tribe actually hangs out in a couple different places because I talk to animals. Therefore, they're animal lovers, and they're at pet food stores, and they're at dog parks, and they're walking down the street, but they're also at psychic fairs.
Yeah.
And this last psychic fair I went to was, I don't think they had someone who was specifically animal-centric before, so there was a lot of excitement around that. That was kind of cool.
Yeah. And Susan, besides the governor's mansion,
Yes.
where else are you finding your tribe? Are you there?
Around a stove, maybe, what I've been hearing, your cooking classes?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think that might be kind of my roadblock is that I'm not quite sure, you know, I'm not quite sure. So.
Okay. It's still building. It's still unfolding for you, right?
It's still unfolding, and I mean, I've met different people, but it's just I think my tribe is a little unique. It's hard to find people who are doing things international. I mean, definitely the Denver Sister Cities has been helpful, but
good.
You know, I just don't. I'm still going through that, I guess.
And food oriented, right? Would you define your by food-oriented companies that want to go global, want to go outside of U.S.?
Right, and I've been doing that exercise. I think I talked to you about that study, that multi-client study that I've been pushing out, and I think I've been really resisting it because it just doesn't feel right to go out. But I did actually last week meet the CEO of Boston Market in Golden, and that was a little bit.
Wow.
That was definitely getting my big girl pants on. You know, when he emailed me and said, "Yeah, you can come anytime," and I said, "Okay, how about next week?" So I went over there, and I went and saw the CEO. And
very good.
I
love what you just said there is putting your big girl pants on to go do that, right?
It was really putting some big girl pants on.
Yeah, and that is what it means when you're stepping into your essence, into who you are, and starting to get out and have bold conversations like that. That's exactly what I mean here.
You know,
that's progress, Susan.
I mean, it is progress. I mean, nothing came of it except just an amazing meeting with an amazing person, and I thought he's originally from Israel, and I told him my daughter was in Jordan, and we really had a nice connection. He doesn't need my help now, but maybe in the future. But you know, but it's hard to make those
nurture it.
Yeah.
Nurture it, right? I mean, it goes back to that. Okay, so how do you create a meaningful, lasting relationship with someone like that?
Right. Well, it's so important, right? I was just introduced to a woman a couple of weeks ago that runs the California Women's Conference, and she represents 80 million women across the country. And we were talking about a speaking opportunity, and I called out our friend that is a shared acquaintance, and I was like, okay, so what do I need to do in order to nurture this relationship with Michelle? And Damien was so cute. He was like, just love on her. Just love on her regularly. Send her a text message with a cute message. You know, if you see something that you think she might like, email it to her, but just nurture that. Stay in her purview and love on her. And I was like, that is the most perfect advice. When he's like, yeah, right now there isn't like a, yes, I'm signing me up and you're locked and loaded, right? It takes that opportunity to get to know you a little bit more and to, you know, stay on their radar and to just love, 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 love. So, yeah.
So, because I thought about sending him a handwritten note, which I didn't do yet, because I thought that's a little weird, you know, sending a CEO.
No, it's not weird. Because then he will remember you, right? You become memorable. And then I think that Sarah's story there that she just told of this woman, this woman remembers Sarah. She knows who Sarah is now.
Yeah.
And
I sent her a little screenshot of a picture of a song that I think that she needs to play at her upcoming conference. It's one that I love, and I was like, hey, you need to make sure this is on your playlist. Just silly things like that. But the other part of the story that I didn't share is that my friend Damien, as he was connecting Michelle and I, he had given 5 of the baddest ass women that he knew, that's how he described it, to connect with her. And he's followed up with each of the 5 that he made the connection with, and he said it's funny that there's nobody that's showing the love except for me out of the 5. And so you may think that, like, gosh, they're getting bombarded with handwritten notes or, you know, other people asking for their attention or, you know, sharing the love. And that simply isn't the case.
Because
and I don't think this is an anomaly. I hear this regularly.
Okay.
So
because I was going to go out the very, very same day and write a note to him and say, it was amazing talking to you. Thank you for the Boston Market apron and the you know, Boston Market card. And by the way, here's my daughter's blog if you're interested in seeing what she's doing in Jordan. But then I thought, but I just didn't. I thought maybe that was kind of too personal, and I wasn't.
No, and the connection with your daughter being there is fabulous because he suddenly has a newfound interest in you.
Okay, then I'll do it.
Good.
Yes. And you're doing it out of love, right? That you totally, genuinely loved the interaction, it sounds like that you had a great conversation, and it's not because, again, the take. It's about, I just want to be able to continue to talk with high vibe people, that we've got some commonalities here, and if we could ever be of service or help each other out, then absolutely never hesitate. I'm here, baby. Right?
Okay. I just didn't know if I should do a handwritten or an electronic email, you know, but electronic seems so impersonal to me, so I'll
You're
find
right.
out.
It's how we get it. I mean, that's how we are often communicating. So either way works.
Love it. Do it.
So I want you guys to kind of step back and just think for a moment, what are some of the brands that you really admire, that you've seen, especially in the field that you work in? So just think about that. What brands stand out to you? Sarah and I picked out a couple that we like to look at. This is one that Heather Ardema shared with me, and it's Chris Carr. And I love Chris's energy that resonates from these. I love the colors that she chooses. I love the big smiles that she's showing, the movement. I mean, you talk about fire dancer, right? There's a lot of fire dancer energy, this light shining out from her that's there. Another brand that both Sarah and I love, and Sarah actually turned me on to her, was the Lola Archer Pickett. And she's got this mystical sense about her. And she's always going off to these really unique retreats, these women's circles, and she's bringing up this, you know, my life was once normal and tame. You know, now I'm a medicine woman, right? That grabs me. It's like, this is really, really interesting. It pulls me in. Wild Playground, you know, that again, it's like, ooh, this sounds really fun. World class and wickedly fun. So think of the words that she's choosing. That it goes, that sounds really interesting. I want to know more.
And talking about wrapping people in love, this next one, I think Daniella Port does an amazing job of bringing just that 100% heart-based, let's, you know, think about this life that you desire, in her colors, in the font even that she has selected. And so, you know, I love that it's her signature a lot of the times. And she does, if you follow social media and like Instagram, I highly encourage you to follow her because she has truth bombs. And even just that language in itself, I think, is really cool. But they're all in her signature and that you see there. And it's about, you know, owning who you are and you know, creating a life that's just amazing. So love Daniella Port. If you don't follow her, check it out. Plus, she does a really amazing planner. And so if you're looking for a 2017 planner, just go and Google Daniella Port because her brand definitely flows in that as well, and something that you can look at every day. So anyway, little side note there. Super fun.
And just think about what brands are resonating with you, and just be curious and watch and learn from them, because there's so much that you can learn from just watching and learning the different, you know, really power brands that are out there. I mean, I think both Sarah right now are in this whole new fan club of Gabrielle Bernstein, and I watch her videos and I'm like, oh my God, I love her. I love that book. You know, it's like. So it's like, what resonates for you? What are you pulled into? Who speaks in ways that really grabs you? Be curious about it. So let's dig into a little bit more. What do you want to be known for? It doesn't matter whether you're corporate world or you're an entrepreneur. You need to really think this through. What do you want to be known for in your work and what you put out into the world? You know, Sarah, as we talked about earlier, is the epic shit. I do a lot of the next chapter kind of thing. And some of the things that you want when you're thinking about what the brand of you is you're looking for some surprise, right? You're looking for to make it personal. It's all about the essence of who you are. You want it to be memorable and a short recall.
Goal Digger's my latest that I love that's resonating with me, because like I'm a goal and I'm going to go and move all the time, and so it's definitely a part of the Epic Shit family, but it's a new little piece that has evolved.
Right.
So what's evolving for you?
Yeah. And so know that people have this attention span about this big, right? It's not very big. It's getting smaller and smaller all the time. So you've got to have that thing that grabs them, that hooks them in. Here's some things that I want you to think about when you're creating sound bites. So a sound bite can be what you label a video that you're posting. It can be a blog title. It can be the title of an
email subject line.
An email subject line. Yeah, all these different ways. And so they should be short. 10 to 15 words at the max. It can stand alone. It's memorable. It's attention-grabbing. It can be surprising, something that goes, oh, what did they just say, right? The book that I just got, Pussy Revelation. And I'm like, oh, my God, did she say that word? And Tim was there when I opened up the book, and I'm like, look what I just got. There's that surprise to it, right? It's like what gets people a little bit edgy around it. Questions are great ways to hook people in. Getting personal. If I'm going to share something with you that happened to me last weekend, and it wasn't my most proud moment, or whatever that looks like. It can be very controversial. It can be around trending topics. And the best gem of thinking about ways that you kind of do that hook in, that soundbite hook, is to think about some of the top conversations you've had this week with your clients and your prospects. What's going on in their head? What's top of mind for them? What's keeping them awake at night? Those are things that can give you a really powerful soundbite. I just watched there's a blog, and I should pull that blog out, that I read this morning, and it's being rated one of the top blogs around, and they were saying, they were comparing different subject matters, different blog topics or headlines, and the ones that really grabbed people were the ones that they were top of mind. They were talking to a whole lot of entrepreneurs. What are your top problems as an entrepreneur? And they were A, B, C, and D. And it was about cash flow. It was about, and I don't remember all of them, but it was all these different things. And when they started writing those blog posts around those topics, they were growing their blogs and just like 1,000 people a day, because they hit the what was at the top of their heart, of their target audience. So this is a tool that I've used. It was developed actually when I was back in the corporate world, when I was creating these experts in their field. I was helping them build their thought leadership. It's a great way to, and I use this tool even today especially like if I'm going to prep for an interview, or I'm going to prep for something that's really, that I want to have. I have a short amount of time that I need to deliver exactly. This is my message, this is my core message, and here's the supporting facts around that. This is a great model where you think about, okay, what is it, that number one thing that you want to tell, and then what are the supporting facts around it? And you can use it for interviews, for articles, for speaking. And I've got an example of one that I developed several years ago. And this is, are you ready for your next chapter? So this is, where I was talking to a lot of people who were saying, I want something new in my life. I just don't know what it is. And so I started with some facts. 7 in 10 women are going to make a transition within the next 2 years. That came out right out of research that I did. And the women told me, so these were, this is important. The women told me these facts, right? That they were tired of feeling stuck, and they were ready to take control of their crazy, busy 70-hour work week. And so these are things that they were telling me that was important to them. And they wanted to be stronger, more confident, vibrant person. They wanted to shine their light more brightly. They wanted to create a legacy that really, really mattered. And then how do they want to? They want to discover a passionate and meaningful next chapter in their life, how they'll make the money and then impact their heart desires. Bringing in some client stories for all of these makes it so powerful. So if I was having a conversation with a reporter, for example, I can make sure I cover all these different things. This is what's happening in my client's life. They're telling me they're sick and tired. They're ready to make a change. This is what's happening to them. This is why their life is feeling so unsettled. This is how they'd like to feel, and this is what they'd like to make happen. So a really interesting way to have that conversation.
And that's the beauty of going through this type of a process. It's not just something that I have to think of and then come up with, some beautiful words. Like I've gone through this way that's really helped me to articulate what I know in my mind, but now it's given me some really beautiful language to use and whenever that opportunity pops up. And there's 4 big chunks where you can really put some energy, right, when you're putting your brand out there. And so you can see these here. We've got verbal, nonverbal, the images, and then raving fans. And so let's just talk about each one briefly. So this does come in many forms. And the words that you choose obviously are going to say a lot. And we've already talked about what are some of those big things that are within your language. But what would be a couple that you would definitely write down? Ashara, as I think about your words, that curiosity piece, like that is huge. That presence piece, yes. So how is that language, that verbal stuff being translated into all of that messaging, right? Are you in your messages when you're being verbal using language of action or language of complaint? Right? Because it's amazing even in business how many people that you read their website, you read their social media posts, and it's all in that, oh, well, let's just rant about something. Let's complain about something, and then turn it into well, here's why you need to come and work with me, and it's all fear-based and crazy from that perspective. Like that's not a part of my brand. It might work for somebody else, but not me. But again, what do you want to stand for? What kind of language resonates with you? Is it going to be solutions-oriented language? Is it going to be negative Nelly? You have that choice. Right? When you think of nonverbal, we've talked about being big, right? We've talked about how people are going to experience you. How do they want to feel when you enter a room? Again, making that mental note, writing it down, letting your mind see what you wrote with your own hand. There's power there. That resonates at a deeper level. You'll show up that way. Images. Now, this is one of my absolute favorites, right? This is like, what are you posting to Facebook? What images are you putting on your emails or the newsletters that you're creating?
Or in your PowerPoints.
In your PowerPoints, yes. Right. What do you hang on your walls? Right? How do you decorate your house? These things all speak to your brand. Right? And so I was looking at my house the other day, and I have like a lot of music stuff in my house, and I have a lot of nature you can see behind. That's a part of my brand, music and nature. I talk and I post about that all the time. Right? So what are your things? What images can you pull in? Right? And then that final piece, that raving fans, it's just a beautiful thing to recognize how other people describe you. And this is the most beautiful gift because you see yourself as one way, but when you get that reflection back from others, like, man, Sarah brings the high energy. Like sometimes I don't think about that because it's just like who I am. But as I'm writing a bio, if somebody's going to introduce me to speak, I absolutely want that kind of stuff in there. So definitely consider raving fans. So I want you to just think of these 4 areas and where you excel the most and where you have the opportunity to show up bigger in how you want to be seen. And it's fun. And this next thing is just, I think, a really beautiful reminder for all of us because the written word is so critical, and we email, like we were just talking about that, right? Do I send a handwritten note or do I send an email? Well, no matter what you're doing in email, these little golden nuggets here are beautiful. So if you haven't already read Playing Big by Tara Moore, then do that. But just look at this list, the before you hit send email checklist, right? This, that first one, the check for shrinkers, is one of my absolute favorites because it's so easy to slip in a just. Oh, I just wanted to check in and see how you're doing, or I just wanted to check in to see if you've made a decision, or I just wanted to ask you a small question. It's like, you know what, that is diminishing my need to actually ask you for what I want, right? Never minimize, own your space, get rid of the just, right? Are there any unnecessary apologies? Sorry to ask you this silly question, anything like that. So take a list, or take a quick look, and see if there's anything that you see that you can just get rid of with your emails or avoid. Cami, which one is your favorite?
Oh, I use just all the time. I soften my language. I go, oh, I just wanted to reach out and check in with you. Or actually, I use that a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And the 4th one actually is a cool one too. See, actually, I just said it. Does that make sense? Oh my gosh, I do that all the freaking time. It's like, they will let you know, stand in it again. Own that you've been really clear in your communication.
Yeah.
So that's what we've got there. Social visibility is huge. Social media is my absolute favorite. And whether you're using Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Snapchat is my new all-time favorite, you know that this is a huge way for you to build your brand. And this is where I've been finding that people are just proactively reaching out and saying, Sarah, I love your brand. I don't know anything about you, but I love what I see you posting. Tell me more. So it's that curiosity factor. And so the key here is to go where your tribe is hanging out, right? If you don't like Twitter, well, if your people are on Twitter, find a way to fall in love with Twitter, right? Like Snapchat was the one that I resisted because I was just like, I don't need another one. But if I look at my core people of who I'm trying to reach are millennials, and I look at the data, millennials are all over Snapchat. So I got over myself and I got on, and it was amazing. I'm really excited that I did. So this is a great opportunity for you to check in and say, okay, have I already written it off as it's not going to work for me, or what do I need to know that could help me know that this is going to be worthy of my time? Right? Because it's easy to justify until you die. It's like, I don't need to do that. But what if you did? So that's the thought for today.
Okay, one more tool here. This is a great format, and I picked this up at an event that I went to just a few months ago. But it's a great way, another way to build the sound bite. So start with, number one, take a stand. What's your point of view? So think of a point of view that you've got. Number two, your reason for communication. What do you want them to do? And three, what's in it for them if they take action? Why do they even care? If you follow that format around that, you can very good chance that you're going to come up with a really strong soundbite. So that's a great tool that you can use to pull that out. So how do you get your work done?
Oh. So I was doing a keynote a couple of weeks ago and we were talking about brand, and one of the slides that I showed was of Farlap, my all-time favorite racehorse. And I was like, okay, so seeing this picture of a racehorse, what does that make you think of? And they're like, well, running. I was like, yes, that picture is the brand or the image that tells you that I move quickly. Right? And so maybe you're the kind of person that you get your work done and you just have to like do it fast. Right? Maybe you're a creative genius that likes to get colors and mind maps and everything. Maybe you're a planner to the T, and you know that if you're going to be presenting on Friday, like that week before, you've got to have everything locked and loaded, and so that you don't have to, be worried about the days leading up to the event. Maybe you're somebody, the way that you work, it's all about using technology. Maybe you're old school and you like to type it out on a typewriter. I mean, whatever the way that you get your work done is, like, own that, right? That's going to be a part of your brand. Are you crazy? Are you cool? Are you slow and methodical? Are you frenzied? Sometimes like me and, full of wild creativity. Whatever it is, embrace your style and flow how you do business, right? Because how you work and how you, move about it, that influences your brand, right? So I want you to think, how does the work that you do impact your raving fans, or how you do your work? How does that impact your raving fans? And why does that matter? Right? Nice to pause and reflect. How do I work? How does this impact my people? And at the end of the day, your brand is going to be 100% connected with how you feed and water those relationships in your life, right? How they experience your personal brand, how you love on your people, how you love on your tribe. That is what's going to resonate most, right? So bring that heart in and own that.
Okay. So the TED Talk that we're going to recommend here is the Simon Sinek. And he does just a wonderful way of taking you through why your customers really care about what your brand is. So watch that. I highly, highly recommend it. He's going to use examples, are going to include Apple and Martin Luther King and the Wright brothers. And so, kind of a very broad spectrum of different brands, if you will, out there. But he takes you through that. How do you keep asking that question of why? So watch that one. And then there's a great book, which Sarah actually has mine right now.
Have it?
And it's called Talk Like Ted. And it's a great one to really just help you think through your presentations. How do you make yourself memorable? It's about helping discover what moves you and then creating the means of moving others with your vision. So it's a great book. So what's
I'll give
next?
it back one day.
Okay, what?
I said I'll give it back one day.
Yeah, that's fine. That's totally fine. After you do your TED Talk, hon. So.
That's right.
So what's next? Watch for a whole new round of brand new jam sessions starting in January. We're going to be starting to plant the seeds of what they might contain, and we're always looking for great topics that we see our clients are, things that we see our clients where they can grow, where they can expand, where they can release some things. Those are the sorts of topics that we really do listen to what's happening in our clients' lives before we start to develop that. So that's where that will be starting in January. In the meantime, we'd like to offer to any of you to grab a strategy session with either one of us to really ignite that little fire in your life, whatever it is that needs to come out of you. That's a great way that you can do that in the meantime. So with that, any burning questions, Ashara or Susan?
Nope.
I'm curious to hear each of you just share what's your biggest takeaway after hearing today's branding message.
I guess my biggest takeaway is I'm not doing it, so I need to.
So your biggest
I need
opportunity
to work on it more.
is you can work on it more.
Yeah, you are doing it. You were at the governor's office, for God's sake.
Yes.
I love the journaling takeaways. I will definitely journal on those questions.
Good.
How I want people to experience me and the colors and all of that.
Yes.
Cool.
Make it better.
So
You guys
you're
are
gonna
rock stars for giving yourself this time to consider brand, right? To consider that bigger picture of that essence and how it really can attract all of those amazing people that you meet in your life around you, and how you can just love on them just by being you. It's important. Thank you.
Yeah, and I got to say, I love how this is evolving. How this, every time we dig deeper into this topic, it's getting richer and deeper because there's such a huge connection. The essence of you to the essence of what you want to be putting out into the world, and that can be really magical. So if you're thinking about embodying it and being in it and living in it, you can't go wrong.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Have a great
See you
day.
soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Are you gonna post this?
Yes, we will.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
Hey, see you Thursday.
Okay. Bye.